Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another one. It is the Authority Project. I'm Brian S. Arnold here, and I'm here with my new good friend here, Chris Carr. And he says he's going to show us why it's essential to build systems, not independent solutions. Is that right, Chris?
That is right. That is right. Hey, thanks for having me on the show, man. This is great.
Awesome. Well, we shall see. We shall see what he can do for us today.
Yeah. No pressure. We're live
on this incredible episode. Yes, yes, yes.
That's right.
Yeah. The Authority Project.
Man. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, feast your eyes and tune your ears. It's that time again. We are live with another episode of The Authority Project. It's the video podcast streamed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope, where we talk to digital marketers, business coaches, and creators of all kinds on how they've built authority in their field and how you can mimic their success. Developing authority, building your audience, and attracting better clients to your own business. Now, without further ado, let's bring to the virtual stage your host, Brian S. Arnold.
All right, we're back with another one. It is Brian S. Arnold here, and I'm here with the Authority Project. You are the project, and we want to slap authority to your name so you can sell more of what you're great at. And we have Chris Carr in the virtual building with us today. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Doing great, man. This is great. It's a great gloomy day here in Boston.
Yeah. We had rain all morning. We're in Philly, and so we had rain all morning.
And we're still smiling, so we're good to go. We are good to go here. So let's hop into, first of all, before we dive in, we have a lot to dive into. Yep. Tell us first of all who you are personally and then professionally.
Sure. Yeah. My name is Chris Carr. I started Faratech about 20 years ago, 2001. Started out mostly just as a web development agency. Quickly found out that clients didn't just want to have a good website. They wanted to be found on Google, and thought that would solve everything. And then found out really what they wanted was more business. And so for the last 20 years, I've been basically systematizing marketing so that people know how to generate leads, nurture leads, and they convert leads into raving fans of your vision and your mission and your brand and all that great stuff.
I love it. I love it. Who are you personally? Who is Chris Carr?
Yeah, got a great wife, amazing wife, two kids. One of them is beautiful and kind and wonderful. And the other one is handsome.
Love it. I love it.
They're great. They just they're 5 and 3, and they keep me busy for sure. It's been a gift. It's been a gift.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome stuff. So are you working on a current project at the moment, sir?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I built our system over 20 years. And what I did was I rented out this stage, and I presented for about an hour and 10 minutes on stage. And now I'm going through After Effects and looping all of the slides. Some of the slides you'll see today over top. Nice. So I'm turning the sales presentation into a show.
Nice. I love that.
Not like a show you're going to tune into like on Fox or NBC or something like that. But, like what I want to be able to do is I want to have the crispest, smoothest way of saying what we say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we worked really hard on why we do what we do and how it works and all that stuff. And so I really felt like I want that wow experience.
Presentation matters.
Yeah, man. It does.
Awesome.
That's
Last
a big
question.
Project.
Oh yeah, go ahead. That's amazing. I can't wait to see that. Where's it going to be on YouTube? Where you putting it?
Yeah, I'll have it on YouTube. I'm going to drip market it like crazy. I'm going to micro content it into 1 million pieces so that you watch a little piece, then you watch the full thing. Nice. I'm going to try to do some of that Interactor stuff. You ever seen Interactor yet? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
It's like this cool tech for your listeners. It's technology. It's like, hey, do you like cats or dogs? If you like cats, click on this button here. You'll watch cat videos. If you want dogs, you'll watch dog videos. Well, nice. In my world, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Are you business to business? Click here. I'm going to get you the business to business version. Oh, you're business to consumer. All that. If I can make it cool and innovative and say, hey, you know what? No one's ever done it like that before. Then I've won. That's what I want.
Awesome, man. Tell us about your daily routine real quick before we get into it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you the fun stuff because, besides trying to work out and trying to do all that stuff, I try to wake up, probably around 5:30 ish and do the same habits. I'm a big student of habits, but the funny thing is that I haven't checked my own email in 7 years. Well, I mean, that's kind of how the myth works. You know what I mean? I check it on weekends and in between that time, but I've had an assistant that runs my calendar with an iron fist and checks my email and does all of the standard communication stuff that an able CEO should be doing.
That's great.
Yeah. It's like I try to be good at all things, and like the I don't know how to describe it. Like I can dream and I can solve problems, I can do that stuff.
Yeah.
But the grind of everyday habits of like, I don't know, like I was spending an hour and a half a day just scheduling. You know what I mean? It's just like there's got to be a better way.
Right.
And then just the minutia of trying to word my emails right. It was just, I don't know. So this is a very cool story. So this is how it works. Is I drive about an hour a day to get to work, and there's a tool called Voxer. Have you ever heard of Voxer?
I think so. Yeah.
In theory, they call it an online walkie-talkie. I think that's the worst brand in the world. What it is it's like it's like text messaging, but it's all audio format.
Okay.
And so I'll open up Voxer while I'm driving, and it'll say email one will say this, and I'll just click a button and I'll say, hey, Christy, okay, that's really great. Respond with that email with the following information, and I'll just dictate what should be in that email, and she'll send it off.
Nice.
So what it is it's time for meetings and emails, time you never thought you had. Voxer is like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, how they say the iPad was like, it was like an invention that we didn't know we had until it was we needed until it was invented.
Right.
That's what Voxer is to me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I like that. I might have to look into that myself.
I mean, it's really hard to get. If I was to say, hey, you know what? Let's you and I talk. It would take 3 weeks for you and I to carve out time in my schedule for me to ask you a 5-minute question.
Right.
But Voxer, I'm just like, hey, Brian, like, who's a better team, the Eagles or the Patriots? You can answer in the cloud, and I'll listen later.
Right now, that's what it's pick 'em right now.
I think you got me. I got years.
I don't know yet. We'll see. The Brady years are over, so who knows?
I know. Did you see that meme? He's in Tampa Bay, and he looked like the bad guy from Roger Rabbit. Did you see that meme? It was so funny. Yeah, he can do no wrong. I mean, he prints money. The guy's so good.
No. Oh my gosh, leadership is everything, man.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So let's dive in. Let's dive into independent solutions as opposed to getting into systems, expanding into systems, or changing into systems. What does that all mean?
Well, let me tell you about the problem, and we'll work our way back into it.
Yeah.
So started out developing websites. Tried to make award-winning websites. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. Anyhow, created great websites. A couple years later, people were like, "Hey, great website, but our clients can't find us on Google." And I'm like, "Oh, well, we better figure that out." So now we're building great websites. We're on the first page of Google. Very different algorithms back then, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Then you wake up, and they're saying, "I'm on Google. I want great website." On Google, just not the phone isn't ringing enough. And so what we decided to do is say, hey, you know what? Let's figure out how conversion works.
Yeah.
And rather than just basing everything all on one approach, like it's SEO or social media, paid advertising, we said, hey, you know what? All of these things matter. And so let's systematize them. Let's get them working in harmony. And let's be able to track every user to make sure that we know the people that are coming to your website, what they're doing, how they're engaging, lead scoring them, drip marketing to them, and essentially building systems that generate leads, nurture leads into clients, and then convert clients into brand ambassadors, or these people that are raving fans of your brand, your vision, and your message. So that's the system. That's the goal. You know what I mean? But it came from the problem of, hey, you know what? Like
a website is just a website.
A website is just a website. Or, it would be like, hey, Brian, you know what? If I was good at SEO, all my problems would be solved. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. No. Oh, if it's just social media. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Because let's say that I get you on the first page of Google for all your keywords, right? I've looked at your website and your messaging is terrible. Not you. I'm just
Yeah,
it's terrible. And so they are going to go and they're going to bounce like a basketball. You know what I mean? And so we're going to figure that out. And it's possible I got to put a video right on your homepage to keep them there long enough You know what I mean? To tell your story more effectively, because you have a disruptive product that nobody knows about. And you know what? You think that they're reading and they're not reading. I can tell you that. I test their eyeballs. I test how far they scroll.
Yeah.
What you think and what is real is not the same. So
that's great stuff. Great
yeah.
stuff. So yeah, I want to dive more into that, because the people who are on here, you know, they're entrepreneurs, they're thought leaders.
Yep.
They are small business, you know, maybe small teams right now. So Chris, you have to worry about, like you said, SEO, social media channels, organic and paid ads, landing page conversion, email campaigns, public relations, and then after all that, creating products that sell.
Yeah,
or maybe we should do the first of all, but there's a lot of things to worry about, a lot to handle. And people don't know how to prioritize. Where do they start?
Well, let me show you what you don't want to do, or what you could do. And this is kind of what happens. Let me share my screen. You mind if I just share my screen for 1 second?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So, you know, you are now into the matrix here. This is kind of my presentation. So here's what happens 9 times out of 10. You got a business, right? Give me 1 second here. So essentially, marketing is moving too fast. Some businesses, or many businesses, will come to me and they'll say, I got a marketing guy or marketing gal. And I'm like, okay, that's great. You know what? But we just said that marketing is moving really fast. And so if your clients expect you to have a great website, expect you to be on the first page of Google, expect you to have a social presence, expect you to have a great newsletter that's going to keep them informed, expect you to be a thought leader, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff.
Right.
Now let's make the problem worse. There's 2 billion blogs. You know what I mean? Like
now there is. Yeah.
I what I don't have is this one slide of like how big a billion is. Like, you ever seen that slide? It shows like $1 million, and it's like a guy's got like a stack of hundreds, and it's like that big, right? Size of a shoebox. That's $1 million. And like $1 billion is like his whole living room. Like $1 billion is so much. Right. Well, I mean, there's one blog for every 7 human beings in the world, and there's a lot of people in the world, right?
Yeah.
So other than that, you know, there's so much content going out all the time. I mean, like the analogy I say all the time is there's 400 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every single minute.
Yes.
So like you and I, we're creating history right now. We're creating the greatest marketing video that money can buy. And we're one of 400 things going up this minute. Right. You know, so that's a lot. And so just like how you and I, well, maybe you, when my toilet broke 2 weeks ago, I tried to fix it myself and I almost got a divorce. All right. It was pretty bad. Right. Yeah. My wife is like, I refuse to do man jobs. And then meanwhile, I'm doing it and she's looking over my shoulder, telling me what I'm doing wrong. Right. Anyhow, all this stuff, we're at a spot now where you're going to need to hire a plumber. You're going to need to hire pros to get your content found, because it's very hard to do it on your own. Yeah. But companies oftentimes have that marketing guy or that marketing gal, and God bless her, she's probably awesome. But the problem is she doesn't have time. Yeah. And so what she's going to do is she's soon going to find out, hey, I can do all the marketing PowerPoints and all that stuff, but if we're going to rank on Google, I got to write content, and I don't want to write content. So I'm going to have to hire somebody to do that. And then I'm also going to have to, you know what, our social presence is important. So let's figure out whether I can use internal resources or hire somebody for that. And man, you know, SEO is hard too. So that's a science. So let's get an SEO guy in here too. Yeah. And then we're taxing our web guy, and everything has to fit your brand. Right. And so you wake up one day, you got a lot of money going out the door. Now, the alternative is a team-based approach. And that's sort of what we built as a company over 20 years. Right. And that's basically going to give you all the subject matter experts that you need, but when you need them. And when you compare that versus hiring internal or using multiple vendors, we're going to come in at a deep, deep discount. And, you know, it gets even better in the fact that, you know what? Legend. Yeah, exactly. we're dropping around $7,000 a month on software and analytics that you don't have to do anymore. Like, we're going to pay for all the cool science stuff. You're just going to reap the rewards of that. So there's just a lot, you know, you can, if you want, we can stop sharing my screen, but there's just a lot going on. And what's going to happen here is that what's going to happen here is that you can either try to do it yourself and choose. It's a crossroads. You're going to say, I'm either going to do it myself and I'm going to just do one or two things really good.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to build an entire system. I'm going to make my marketing person the quarterback, and I'm going to hire a team that gets this stuff done in the background. And that's sort of who we are.
Yeah.
Now let's pretend like we said, I'm just going to be good at one thing. So I've been around the block enough times. I'm 43 years old, started this business 20 years ago. I was 21 years old. And I've been on the bad side of an SEO algorithm change, a bad side, like a stock market crash.
Yeah.
Of like, it's all gone and you got to explain this to not only your employees, but also the people that pay you. You know what I mean? It's like, goodness.
Right.
You didn't have any control of that and it's gone. I've also been around where Facebook allowed you to see your visitors or your people that liked your page saw 40% of your content. And then one day it was gone. And then now it's like, I know how to do Facebook ads. Oh, Apple says I'm going to just turn off in the name of privacy.
Right.
I'm going to do an algorithm change and now your Facebook ads are going to be less effective. So like every single day we're building our house on sand, whether we know it or not.
Okay.
And if you don't diversify, you could wake up one day and everything that you need to do to generate business, it could be gone because you didn't build it yourself. You don't own it.
So a lot of that too is that, speaking of that, it's like you have to be, like you said, building a brand, building a community on top of that, so that people still want to know, well, where can we find you? Where else can we find you? I mean, I'm just putting this as an example. Don't get at me, people. But Trump is no longer on Twitter. But now people that love Trump want to know where they can find him, where they can get his content. So I think this week he just put up something new for people to find his content.
Yeah.
So he he would never have gotten that unless he had some kind of community and built some kind of following on that. So can you tell us, I mean, outside of all those things that we need, because I know that's very important. I want to dive back into that as well.
Yep.
But how important it is to really dive into building a community, building a following, that a loyal following that really wants to see you all the time. They want to see what's next from you.
Yeah. Well, that's a really great question. And, I think the fact that, I said, hey, I want to get on your show, Brian. And you said, hey, I will see you in May. When January.
Right.
You got to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I guess my point is that you want to develop that community. And let me tell you how you do it wrong. You know how you do it wrong? You get one message and you give it out to everybody. All right.
Okay.
How you do it right is you look at your audience and you segment your audience and you say, you know what? If I'm in the healthcare space and I know people struggle with knee pain, they don't get my Spine Center newsletter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you do is that you start to think about things in the world of communities and not into selling to individuals. So, we help one of the largest orthopedics practices. They wanted cyclists in Philadelphia. And we said, hey, you know what? You want to go after one cyclist at a time? Or I found 10 cycling groups in Philadelphia that have over 1,000 people per group. So let's be rock stars in each of those groups so that let's stop thinking about individuals. Let's start thinking about communities, and let's feed those communities with really great content for cyclists that might have chronic pain. And so they have surgeons that are specifically work with cyclists because it works so well. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's just a small paradigm shift. Yeah. Because let's pretend like, I do cycle, by the way. Nice. You won't see anywhere on my Facebook page, Chris is a nice guy and he's married. He's got 2 wonderful kids and he's got back pain. Like, I'm not going to say that, right? Right. But I'm going to say, like, I'm an idiot. He's a little bit chubby and wants his bike, lose some weight, right? I like cycling. And then doctor's smart enough says, hey, you know what? You cycle enough time, you're going to have a bad back, you're going to have bad hips, and you're going to have bad knees. Right? So now they know how to find me. So stop thinking about, like, going after the guy. Let's try to take a couple steps back and let's figure out, where does he live? Where does he, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the type of thing that very few companies do. It's like they say that they want to get to people, but they don't know where they live. I'm not saying where they live physically. I'm saying, where do they live in their heads, in their minds? What do they think? What do they read? The second you get razor sharp on who your buyer is and where they live and what they consume and what they do, changes quick.
And that's the prevailing question that I see over and over again, where a lot of people struggle with their avatar, with who their ideal customer is.
Yeah.
And I think it's a continual, and the reason why, because everything's saturated. Let's just put it out there. Everything's saturated right now. If you think about it. So to want to be unique and to want to be special.
Yep.
Can you tell us how we can get there? And is there a formula that you take into your clients? Like, okay, we're going to find this, and this, so you can be the ideal person, the go-to business for this particular thing.
Yep. Couple things. The average business has thought leaders and subject matter experts in that business. The average business sometimes has salespeople, right? Step one is, let's go to the source and get it out of they have it between their ears. They just don't have it on paper.
Okay.
Right. I've been to multiple organizations where I came in and I'm going to say, I'm going to integrate sales and marketing. And the salespeople shake the hand of the marketing person because they've never met them.
Right. Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Right? And it's happened. And I'm like, I know both of you and you don't know each other and you both work in the same business. Right. That's problem number one. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's there. So let's work on your internal resources and let's figure out what they know. And then let's ask really good questions. But then let's see how those answers change from one buyer persona to the next buyer persona to the next buyer persona, so that we don't market to all the same people in the same way. Yeah. But here's the deal. Is that once you stop there, other things you can do, and this is a hack. And so, I don't know, this is the 22-minute mark of your episode. So if you want to know where the first bell is to say, hey, is Survey Monkey for like between $5 and $9 a survey? Mm-hmm. They can go out and they can basically survey people you don't even know. Right? That's what they do all the time. I don't know what people know that. They think that Survey Monkey is, hey, you know what? I'm going to only market to my list. Survey Monkey has lists. And so you can ask questions. You know what I mean? You can ask questions to that list, to a list of people you don't even know. Survey Monkey has that.
Now that I did not know. I gotta be honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to be honest. I did not know that.
Yeah. So it might cost you $1,000, right?
Yeah.
But now I've got 900 buyer persona specific answers to my questions. Other things that you can do is
so important.
Yeah. You can find questions. Say it's a 5-question survey. Okay. You can put question number 1 on your Facebook news feed, your business news feed.
Yeah.
Then spend $100 asking people to fill out that survey question number 1. Right. You know what I mean? 5 questions later, $500 in, and you've done your buyer persona for the rest of your life. I mean, you do want to check back.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you got a lot of info.
Yeah. That's great stuff. That's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
I know we might have already delved into this a little bit, but can you tell us about the typical pitfalls that you see with the clients that you interact with? Yep. Like, do you see like the typical like oh yeah, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong? Is there a pattern that you see when you talk to clients or interact with them? Yeah.
I see a bunch of them. The one that I didn't coin the term. Here's my problem, right? This is that. So I drive for like 2 hours a day, and I don't listen to the radio. I just listen to YouTube University, which means I listen to your podcast. I listen to anybody's podcast that I find interesting. I see a title I like, and I listen, and then it churns, and I'm 40 hours a month of listening to people. And I don't even remember who I heard stuff from, but I know it was good. And then I act like it's my own.
Right.
I'm standing on the shoulders of giants saying stuff. And I'm always wondering, like, are they listening to this and be like, mother, you stole my sting. But somebody came up with this term and he called it RAM. And it's random acts of marketing. And so let me kind of explain what that is. It's like, I'm a business. And you know what? Marketing is important. And so, hey, Susan, Christmas season's coming up. We need to get all of our stuff ready on the website for Christmas. So Susan drops what she does and she gets all of her Christmas stuff done, right? Hopefully she got it done by September so that we have 90 days for it to rank, but that's another story.
Right.
So then she gets done her Christmas stuff, right? Now Christmas is over. Oh, guess what? Bob, there's a trade show in March. Bob, stop what you're doing. Let's get ready for that trade show. Trade show's over. Bob goes to his. Now September rolls around. Now it's Susan to do Christmas again. Dominic, by the way, we have this new product line. Now can you do me a favor? Can you stop what you're doing? You know what I mean? So you wake up one day, it's like this life of quiet desperation. It's like you're always just bouncing from one fire to the next fire to the next fire.
Yeah.
Right. So like the number one thing that we try to do is we try to get a rock solid editorial calendar. And the editorial calendar lets you know what content is going out in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, or even a year. You can set your watch by it. I factored in those trade shows. I factored in, hey, you're in the orthopedic space. Baseball season is in March, right?
Yeah.
So that means 90 days prior to that, I got to start writing writing for keywords that are going to affect shoulder surgery because that's what baseball season, you know, like you know what I mean? Yeah. So I factored all these things in and then we run the system. Now our team is doing proactive marketing as opposed to being totally reactionary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what happens. You wake up one day and it's just a hunch. You know what I mean? Or you got an idea while driving to work or sitting on the toilet. You know what I mean? You just don't want to live that way.
Right.
You know? So
these are great. This is great stuff, man. This is great.
Oh, thanks.
So let's get this in an overall blueprint. Let's just summarize what we've done today.
Yeah, man.
For creating or at least getting our business ready to be systemized.
Yep.
And going from our independent solution to being systemized. Can you just go like a 1, 2, 3 and how that works for people before and say to the point where have this before we get to you, before you come to Ferrotech, maybe.
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of thing.
Sure. Well, here's the problem is that it's going to be very hard for you to figure that out on your own. And that's why my business exists. So what we do is we develop a gap assessment. So I'm going to tell you a story, and so Brian, you say it's January 1st. I'm going to go to my doctor for a routine physical. You come in there 5 minutes later, he looks at you and he says, you know what, Brian, I think you'd be a good candidate for open heart surgery. You'd be like, what? Dude, we just talked. I just came in here 5 minutes ago. You haven't even checked my scans. You haven't done anything. Right? It's like, yeah, but you would be great for it. You're like, what are you talking about? Right? Like that's a major, major decision. And I don't even know whether I need it.
Right.
You know, like that's absurd, right?
Yeah.
You know how many clients go to a marketing company and say, here's my problem. We don't get enough leads on our website and we want to get more clients. And the marketing company's like, that's great. I understand the need for that. I sure want to help you. So I'm going to spend 2 hours of research and I'm going to put your website in a piece of software. I'm going to run a report. I'm going to tell you got a problem. And by the way, to solve that problem, it's $100,000. And you're like, well, let me get 2 other offers. And it's like, this guy came in at 90,000. He can solve my problem for 90,000. Let's go with him. And this happens all the time, right? 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know how long my company takes? 60 days. I don't give you a proposal for 60 days. We charge you $15,000 right up front. We do a gap assessment that is literally, it's literally a book this big.
Nice.
And that's our 3 to 5 year roadmap. And it looks at every single piece of your marketing that we're going to need to know to grow your business and scale your business over the next 3 to 5 years. And from now on, this is like our Bible for the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to have these scorecards on there that's going to say, hey, these are the things that are in red. We got to address those quickly because they're costing you big time. We're going to go from red to yellow and then yellow to green. And we're constantly turning the dials to fix everything first to get foundational marketing done. Yeah. And then we start to scale it with your editorial calendar, some of your paid advertising and things like that. But what you're going to know every single time is where you stand. You're always going to have a scorecard. And every single day or every single month, you're going to get an ROI of saying, this is what you're paying Fairtech, and this is what you're getting in return. Because
Nice.
if what I'm paying Fairtech is bigger than what I'm getting in return, then we have to figure out, is Fairtech the right choice for you? The good part is that our retention rates are anywhere between 92 and 100%.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, where do you start?
Yeah.
You start by getting very serious about what your goals are, and you formalize it, and you create something that is going to be like your roadmap to success.
Yeah.
If not, like, you could have a great account manager that could be here today. They get hit by a bus, or they get hired by another company, and your plan went out the door because Susie Q got another job. You know what I mean? I hear it all the time. Like, they were great, and then my account manager left, and everything fell apart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's step number one. Step number two is you're saying, I either want to hire, if I have a marketing person, I'm going to turn that person into a quarterback, and we got to find that system that I'm talking about so she can be the quarterback of the system. If you don't have a marketing person, I'm going to tell you, you know what? We're going to unplant the idea that you need a $150 marketing guy or gal. I'm going to get someone that's an administrator, and they're going to basically be the liaison between my team and my strategy and you and your organization. And it's going to revolutionize how you hire for marketing. No more of the days where you have to hire 5 to 7 people to get your marketing done. You know what I mean? Like you just, it's a brave new world.
Right.
You know? So that's sort of how it works. Now, if you talk about, let me, can I share my screen one more time?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So this is what our system looks like from top to bottom is that we go and we start out with that gap assessment. Then we do something called usability conversion analysis, which essentially means I don't want to fix something until I know it's fully broken. So usability conversion analysis is that heat mapping software that's going to look at where your eye movements and mouse movements are going. And then I'm going to figure out where people are clicking on your website, how long they're staying, if they're watching your videos, how long, when do I got to drip market to them if I don't, if they leave early. Then I'm going to start to think about lead generation, in particular SEO. How am I going to get on the first page of Google? How am I going to establish myself as a thought leader and have authority? And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out all the facets of SEO, from locking my website down, writing really great content, figuring out a backlink strategy and a PR strategy. Then I'm going to figure out my content strategy. We take our content strategy from a book called Building Your Story Brand. You ever heard of that by Donald Miller?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Good
So
stuff.
we tell really great stories for our clients, and we follow the framework.
Great.
All right. But then we connect it with HubSpot so I can find out who's coming on the website, what pages they visited. Let's give them some lead score to find out, give them points for everything that they've done in my marketing. So if I know that it takes 7 touches to become a sale, I'm going to give you points along the way so that any salesperson would know whether that lead is cold, warm, or hot. After that, I'm going to lead nurture them. You're going to get email sequences to push you down the funnel. I'm going to do all that social media. Social media has to be connected to paid social because otherwise it's going to be a lot of work for not a lot of audience. So we're going to connect that with paid advertising. And then finally, I'm a big fan of video. I'm going to try to get video on as many pages as possible, keep them on the website as long as possible. And then analytics is the key. This allows you to have data-driven decisions. It may sound slick. I do this all the time. At the end of the day is I'm just guessing. I'm best practice, and I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm guessing with intention. What I mean by that is that I'm going to study, I'm going to build something really great, and I'm going to shoot it off into the world, and I'm going to see how it reacts. And then I'm going to make micro adjustments along the way to make it better and better and better. Because I can't promise I can hit a home run, but I know that I can hit 4 singles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what a system looks like. What makes us unique is that we only have, our account managers can only have 5 clients. So in our space, how companies make money is that one account manager might have 20 or 30 or 40 clients that they're spending a little bit of time with. We
Yeah.
believe that this is a contact sport, which basically means that there's an hour and a half meeting every single week because we're an extension of your staff. And so therefore I can't give a project manager too many, an account manager too many clients, or it'll just water everything down. And I can assure you that account managers, when they're not working, they're thinking about you as a client. When they're driving their car or they're in the shower, they're thinking like, it's crazy, but we're all in.
Gotcha. This has been awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I think this is where people need to be going. I am fully on board with the idea that the word solopreneur should never have been dreamt up, because there just can't be such a thing. There's no way to really build and scale by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it can be done if you are willing to build systems, but you're just always living in the day of, you know what? If we can all agree we're building our house on sand and we don't control the things that control our destiny, like Google and Facebook and stuff.
Right. You
just got to know that I got to be ready to pivot when one of those go down. And I promise you, the longer you're on this train, they go down.
Yeah.
They have stockholders that they care about those stockholders way more than they care about you, Mr. Client.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got one last question for you. This has been great, man. One last question. Awesome. And I ask this of all of my clients, all my guests rather. I ask this of all of my guests. And it goes something like this. We have people who are watching this now, they'll be listening later, and they have similar goals, similar interests as you, and they want to do the same kind of things that you're doing. Chris, can you tell them in your own words, and I put you front and center, how they can become an authority in this space?
Oh, thanks, man. Wow, I got the full screen.
Yes.
Well, here's the deal. I was a religious studies major in college. I have nothing in my pedigree that makes me say, hey, you're going to be a great marketer. But if you truly love your craft and you're willing to study it like crazy, right? YouTube videos, reading blogs, and doing these things, like, you will develop authority by, like, so if you think of a pond dies when water comes in, but it never goes out. And so when you become an authority is when you're hungry, it comes into your body, you're into your soul and who you are as an authority, and then you teach it to the world. All right. So, like, if you liked what you heard today, it's a product of me loving marketing and studying it like crazy, adopting it, making it my own, and then going on podcasts like this to try to teach others to do likewise.
Yeah. Great stuff. That's perfect, man. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man.
Yep.
I am so glad we got you on here, man.
Yeah, man. You're probably the most likable guy I've seen on the net, man. He's the nicest guy.
I would take that. Any day, man.
Yep.
Can you please tell people where they can find you and your company after the show?
Yeah, yep. Farotech is FAROTECH. So you can go to farotech.com. You can also email me at info@farotech.com. And then I have two podcasts. One is called Thought Leader Magazine, and the other one is called Digital Marketing Masterclass.
Awesome. People, get on that. Get on this. Get to this guy. This is the way to go. Trust me. Yeah. Don't listen. This is the way to go. Don't get into your head, get frustrated and stressed out and and don't know what to do. Go to the experts. Go to the people who have done it for a while. Get the help that you need, because you know what, that laptop lifestyle is, that's kind of a thing of the past, because there's so much you have to do now, so much you have to do to get out there and stand out. So why not go to Farotech, go to Chris, and have them check out your company and really learn how to systemize it, market it the right way, and measure it and get it done. Get it done the right way. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say. Any final words before we get out of here, Chris?
No, man. This has been a blast. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, man. So let's just take it right there. We're out of here. I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to plug my stuff at all. You'll get it at the end of the outro. You know what it is. So people, as I always say, build it, share it, and they will come. We'll see you next time.
All
We're
right.
out.
And that's a wrap for this episode of The Authority Project. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, we want to hear from you. Subscribe, rate, and give an honest review. Share and tell your friends so they can hear too. And for even more authority building tactics, be sure to sign up at theauthorityletter.com. Get free weekly content and ongoing digital product giveaways to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. We certainly hope you got a key takeaway or maybe an aha moment from today's broadcast. Just remember, it's your authority. Build it, share it, and they will come. Until next time.